Now, Pierce Manufacturing recommends that I go back to road. And I place the transmission in either drive or reverse momentarily. So I push drive, let the transmission engage, I go back to neutral, and now Pierce recommends that you try shifting it again. What you're doing with the transmission is you're putting some torque on the drive line, and you're trying to alleviate that butt tooth condition where the gears are not meshing together. Okay, so I try that, and then I try shifting it again. Okay, if it still doesn't work, then I want to go back to road, take off my parking brake, and I'm going to move the truck either forward or back about 12 inches. That far right there. Go back to neutral, set the parking brake, and I try to do the pump shift again. Okay? If the transfer case still will not engage, I need to go back to the neutral position of the pump shift lever. Now from this point I'm going to go to the pump panel outside and I'm going to manually shift the truck into pump gear. Once I get back to the pump panel, here's the pump shift lever. I push in for pump and out for road. So now I want it to go in. So I'm going to push in with some force, and I can feel the transfer case shift out of road and into pump. Once that occurs, then I have to come back up into the front of the truck, the cab, make sure I get all the way in the cab because I'm going to be manipulating the controls in here now. Put my foot on the service brake, and I bring the pump shift lever into the pump position. Okay. At this point, I should be getting a green light. Now, it's entirely possible that the light bulb could be out. Both of these light bulbs could be out. So, at this point, I felt it go in at the pump panel back there. The lever is down, and now I'm going to shift the drive. Okay, I still don't have any green lights, but I have a 15-mile-per-hour deflection on my speedometer. So I suspect that both of my green lights are burned out. So I'm going to go back to the pump panel. Open the tank valve, and I have a green light at the pump panel. This is a good indication that I'm in pump gear. Okay, I open my tank and pump valve, allowing water to go into the pump. Now I'm going to raise my engine RPM. And sure enough, this truck is in pump gear. I have 2 light bulbs that have burned out in the cab. Now, this is a highly unusual occurrence. It's unlikely that you're going to ever have 2 light bulbs burned out, but there are ways to confirm that you're in pump gear even though your indicators are not telling you so. And I just demonstrated one of those methods. Okay, now I'm going to show you a manual pump shift where the lights are actually still working and we alleviate the butt tooth condition. Okay, remember that we have the pump shift lever in the center. Truck is in neutral and the parking brake is set. We're going to go out to the pump panel now. We're going to take the pump shift lever. It's in road right now. We're going to push it into pump. Okay, once it knuckles in and you feel it go in, then you have to go back to the cab. And you can see I have the first green light. So that tells me my transfer case has made the switch from road to pump. I put my foot back on the service brake and I bring the lever down into the pump position. At this point I want to engage the transmission. I should get the second green light and I should get 15 miles an hour on my speedometer. Okay, now I'm going to demonstrate your last resort to shifting the truck from road to pump if your manual pump shift operation doesn't work. So I'm already at the position where I'm in the neutral position here. I'm in the center position here at the pump shift. I'm in neutral on the transmission and the parking brake is set. I'm going to go out here to the pump panel. And I'm going to push in on the load to pump shift lever. If I'm unable to push it in, for any reason I cannot get it to go in, then there is a procedure of last resort that we're going to demonstrate right now. The first thing you have to remember, this last resort requires that the truck be turned off. So I'm going to go back to the cabin, I'm going to turn the truck off. You never want to put anybody under the fire truck while the truck is running. Turn the truck off. Now I'm going to go under the truck and I'm going to manipulate the drive shaft from the transmission to the transfer case while my partner over here pushes on the lever simultaneously. This should allow us to get it into pump gear. Remember, this is our last resort. By now, as a driver engineer, you should have contacted your company officer that you're having trouble getting the truck into pump gear so that the commander can decide whether or not they want to get another fire truck to take your place. So, ready, John?
Yep.
Okay, I'm now under the fire truck. The truck is turned off, like I said, and my partner is out there at the pump panel pushing on the pump shift lever while I turn the shaft. Okay, Mr. Fernandez, go ahead and push. Did you push in?
Yes, sir.
Okay, did you see how that released on the drive shaft? Okay, that tells me I'm in pump gear. Okay, once I know it went into pump gear, I'm going to come back to the front of the truck, put my foot on the service brake, turn the ignition back on. Start the truck, continue my pump shift into the pump, and engage the transmission. Get 2 green lights, and I should see speedometer deflection here, 15 miles an hour, so I know I'm in pump gear. Okay, now I want to show you the procedure for taking the truck out of pump gear. I look at my transmission shifter lever and I can see that it's in 4th gear. This truck pumps in 4th gear, and I've got 15 miles an hour on my speedometer. The first thing I want to do is disengage the transmission. So I push the neutral switch and I wait for the speedometer to come back to 0. That tells me that that transmission input has stopped. I take the shifter lever, I pull out the collar, and I bring it to the center position. I pause momentarily, and I bring it back up into road. Now, once I go back to drive, I should feel the transmission engage the truck. I take the parking brake off, then I can see that the truck is moving, and I'm back into the road position.